Hi, I'm Ellie,
I'm Hannah.
and today we'll be talking about the Compendium of starting a successful entrepreneurship. In other words, what is the best way to start a business? And throughout this presentation, we'll be talking about the 10 steps to starting a business as some background info, comparisons between different types of entrepreneurs, and key points on market research, and finally, some important traits of successful entrepreneurs. So to start off, it's a well-known fact that starting a business requires a lot of effort, but lots of people aren't really aware of the exact risks that people have to face to run a long-lasting business. So according to Matt Kerrigan from the National Business Capital and Services, 21.5% of entrepreneurs fail their business by their first year. Half of businesses fail on their fifth year, and 70% fail after 10 years. So now that you're aware of these rates, it's safe to say that creating a business is definitely a risk.
There are 10 steps to start a business. This is the traditional process necessary for the beginning. So the first step to starting a business is market research. This step is essential to a successful start and will be explained further on. The next step is to focus on is to write a business plan, which is really important to gaining investors in the next step, which is funding your business. There are actually 3 ways to fund your business. One of them include investors, and the other is self-funding and loans. You should also pick your business location, especially near your target market, for your product to be more appealing. And an important step to another important step is to choose your business structure. Your business structure affects how much you pay in taxes, your ability to raise money, the paperwork you need to file, and your personal liability. The most common structures people choose are sole proprietorship, partnership, C Corp, S Corp, B Corp, and closed corporations. There are actually other structures, but these are the most common ones. The next step is choosing your business name. When you choose your business name, you must protect that name. So there are 4 ways to register for protection. Entity name, which protects you at a state level, trademark, which protects you at a federal level, DBA, which is legally required but does not give protection, and domain name, which protects your website address. Along with this, you must register your business, and after that, receive the federal and state tax IDs. The federal tax IDs are for when you pay your employees, operate as a corporation or partnership, and file for tax returns, while state IDs are for whether your business pays taxes and to protect you against ID theft. Applying for your licenses and permits differ between businesses as well as opening a business bank account. So our hypothesis is that a more driven and analytical approach to one's entrepreneurship will lead to a higher success rate.
So section 2 is about the personalities of different types of entrepreneurs. So starting off with successful entrepreneurs, according to a study performed with 71 new entrepreneurs that just started their business, successful entrepreneurs were those who were more passionate about making their business come to life. And they would also tend to partake in activities that would make their business more tangible to their consumers. For example, they would search for things like equipment, facilities, legal entity, creating a team, and most of all, they devoted full time to their business, which definitely requires a lot of willpower. As mentioned previously, they worked with more intensity and put themselves into the habit of focusing on the business every single day. Overall, entrepreneurs who were successful devoted their full time and energy into the business as much as they could. And these positive activities resulted in starting firms that generated sales for 94% of the entrepreneurs and positive cash flow for 50% of the entrepreneurs.
However, with these successful entrepreneurs, there are also unsuccessful entrepreneurs. From the research of the 41 nascent entrepreneurs, typically unsuccessful people tested out their products beforehand and realized through market research that it would not work out due to competition or whether their product would just not work out in the end. These people are either considered sharp due to their analytical approach or lacking flexibility due to them giving up so easily. There are also struggling entrepreneurs. These people often struggle in the beginning and do not put enough effort in the beginning of the business. They tend to struggle at the start instead of the middle or end of the process. So this graph is from a 2012 study that sent out a questionnaire to 42 entrepreneurs, 21 successful and 21 unsuccessful. As you can see in the graph, the x-axis includes 15 groups of positive attributes. And it's very obvious to see that successful entrepreneurs tend to score much higher than unsuccessful ones. As stated before, market research is very important when starting a business. A great business idea needs research to know its value in the market. Product placement determines the amount of products, the consumers who buy them, and the cost of the product. Conducting market research can help with finding realistic competitors, and with this information, your business can establish your brand and grow into one that's better than your competition. For instance, the famous soda brand Coke one time produced the product C2, which was directed to 20 to 40-year-old men who like Coke but disliked the calories. C2 was a mix of half regular Coke and half Diet Coke. However, this failed due to their lack of good market research, because at that time, the US market was looking for a zero-calorie drink which tasted good, basically full flavor with no calories. From this, Coca-Cola lost $50 million. Managers need to gather current-day market information to make certain decisions. The quantity of the product that people would like to purchase determines the amount of items to be made and shipped. And another important piece of information to know is about the competitors. Who else is selling the same products and competing for customers with you? An especially important part of the day-to-day decisions is the price consumers are willing to pay. Would customers prefer paying a lot of money for your product or prefer paying little? Competitors will try to gain more consumers with a lower price or a better deal, with the price you're selling for managed to uproot competition as well. And at what speed does information and products travel through the methods of distribution? Are these products going to arrive at with a certain amount in time for customer need? And based on this information, should the production levels be increased or decreased?
So the reason why market research is so important is because it blends the behavior of consumers and economic trends together, which can strengthen your business idea. And also gathering demographic information can help an entrepreneur gain more consumers.
As stated before, market research is very important, and in this graph, you can see the top 10 reasons why startups fail. The first being no market need at 42%. This shows that market research is very important for both successful and unsuccessful entrepreneurs, as product placement and just general distribution is very important for your business to succeed and have a good start.
So competitive analysis is the process of learning from other competitors in order to create potential customers for yourself. And a few characteristics under competitive analysis include market share, which is basically the portion of a market that's controlled by a company, strengths and weaknesses, opportunities to enter the market, importance of target markets to competitors, barriers or obstacles along the way, and indirect or secondary competitors, which is basically when, let's say, a pizza shop and a sandwich shop, they both sell food, but different types of food. So this would be considered as indirect competitors.
As said before in our hypothesis, we believe that more driven and passionate entrepreneurs have a higher success rate. And this topic, we will talk about more different traits that fall into this category. Tenacity is a very important trait. Those who are tenacious climb through each obstacle and survive until the very end. Therefore, entrepreneurs who don't give up have a better chance of finding their market and outlasting their inevitable mistakes. Another important trait is passion. A business depends on effort. The more passionate a business is about their product, the greater the effort is put into this. Jay Friedlander, a professor of sustainable business who works with entrepreneurs at the College of the Atlantic and at Babson College, stated that most entrepreneurs he knew believed that they would change the world, and that there is an excitement and belief in what they're doing that gets them through the hard times. For instance, John Rula created his company Nutiva for Canadian hemp farmers, which is a host of industrial and food uses and can be grown without herbicide. This is very environmentally friendly. However, U.S. customs officials associate hemp as part of the cannabis family with marijuana. As said before, hemp has a variety of economical and environmental benefits and does not have the same effect as marijuana. At this time, As time went on, hemp became banned from leaving his warehouse and was made illegal. However, as it reached to continue his business, he decided to sue the Drug Enforcement Administration and won the lawsuit. Today, Nutiva sells a variety of organic products and made from hemp. Another great trait is tolerance of ambiguity. Many people have known the uncertainty of the future. As high schoolers, the uncertainty of college and what you want to do in the future is very pressing, and this continues on. However, this is also important in business. It would be helpful to know the future in working in business. However, since we never know when the uncertainty will end, entrepreneurs are typically experienced in tolerating the fear of uncertainty. For example, Jill Blaszczak-Strahan, founder and CEO of Tastefully Simple, survived through the fear of losing her house and soon afterwards had to overcome the deaths of her brother and husband. Throughout this hard time, the fear of whether her business would actually succeed and whether to keep on going or just get a stable job so she could support her child, she decided to push through the fear and continue working on her business. In 2012, her company had made sales of $98 million. Additionally, Jonathan Alpert, a psychotherapist and author of Be Fearless, Change Your Life in 28 Days, stated that the entrepreneur looks at the situation and knows he has some control over the outcome. The quote stated before is also applicable to this trait. The locus of control is the degree of control a person believes they have over their life. Internal LOC is a common trait in successful entrepreneurs. Those with internal LOC believe that they have control over their own life and that their actions deserve rewards or consequences. They try to control their outcomes and try harder to achieve success.
Entrepreneurs should also have the ability to spot an opportunity for change or innovation. So for example, Eldad met a Yahoo had already made 2 thriving frozen yogurt stores, and he actually went to San Jose State University. But after reading up on fiber optic space, he took a jump from frozen yogurt and went into technology. And he found his interest in this field and therefore created Net Optics, a really successful company that protects other businesses from potential hackers. As mentioned in the locus of control slide, confidence is a vital personality trait among any entrepreneur. We talked a lot about rules and steps on becoming a successful entrepreneur, but breaking rules isn't always a bad idea either. For instance, a study conducted at Berkeley by Ross Levine and Yona Rubinstein from the London School of Economics showed that many successful entrepreneurs took bold and illicit choices. In fact, starting a business is already a really brave decision because 627,000 businesses are launched each year in the US and 595,000 are closed each year in the US. So there's really just a small fraction that actually survive.
With successful entrepreneurs, there are also struggling entrepreneurs. As said before, internal LOC is typically associated with successful entrepreneurs. However, there are also those with external LOC. These people believe that their life is affected by destiny, luck, and other people. These people can be more passive and therefore will not try to change his environment and believe that they can do nothing to affect the situation. This means that most people with external LOC mindset typically do not last long in business. Another characteristic is a low need for achievement. These people typically start off with low expectations and low inspiration for their business. These people do not have a motive for achievement and a tendency to not take risks and resent feedback. On the other hand, high NACH people choose tasks with moderate difficulty, which means they analyze what they can take on. They have a tendency to take calculated risks and feel responsibility for results and expect feedback.
So just as a recap, we talked about the 10 steps of creating a business as some background information. And we also mentioned some similarities and differences between successful entrepreneurs, unsuccessful entrepreneurs, and struggling entrepreneurs, as well as the importance of market research. And finally, we talked about some key traits of successful entrepreneurs, and such as having internal locus of control. And overall, our hypothesis was correct because evidently entrepreneurs who have a more driven and passionate approach to their business are much more likely to create a successful and long-lasting business.